Hello and welcome to Tête à Tête, France 24's flagship interview program. Our guest today is Ahmad Massoud. He is the son of the late Ahmad Massoud, who is known as the Lion of Panjshir, who fought the Soviets, who fought the Taliban, was killed in a bombing 2 days before 9/11 back in 2001. Ahmad Massoud, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You are the head of the National Resistance Front. Since the fall of Kabul to the Taliban in August 2021, it seems that the Taliban, 2 years later, are firmly in control of Afghanistan.
Yes, that's what it seems from outside, yes.
Do you disagree with this? Do you think that there are still some parts of Afghanistan that are not under their full control?
Of course, because as I'm speaking right now, there are roughly about 4,000 personnel that we have inside Afghanistan, and they are fighting. And of course, at this stage, it is not in our strategy to hold any districts or province, because unfortunately we do not possess enough resources to be able to use our forces for both offense and defense.
So you're now living in exile. You're not saying where you are. Are you a targeted person by the Taliban?
Just the way that my father was, just the way that any freedom fighter is, just the way that many who are not happy with the current situation inside and outside Afghanistan. Unfortunately, yes, the terrorism, they tend to always target those who believe that they have some disagreement with.
Have there been attempts on your life since 2021?
There were some attempts, yeah.
You're not being more specific.
Well, it wasn't the first, it won't be the last, so yeah.
Right. You said that, yes, you're not holding any territory, but now you've extended your presence into 12 provinces. Many observers believe that's not true, that this is exaggeration, that in fact the resistance is not really present and active in Afghanistan.
Well, the latest UNEMA report verifies what we say. And do not take it from me, take it from many reports which is coming from the UNEMA, the UN Security Council, EU security reports. And all of them, they verify that the resistance has actually, in fact, expanded with no support from outside. Let's not forget that.
Are there still some channels with the Taliban? Are you still in talks trying to see if, as some people in the West are saying, they've changed since 1996?
Well, it's been 2 years.
Right.
And I believe whoever that they were saying Taliban have changed should be ashamed of themselves,
right,
because the Taliban proved they have not changed at all. And last year when I met, and also let's not forget, even before the start of the resistance, I talked to the Taliban. I sent delegations after delegations to reach to a conclusion that, okay, let's talk, let's make a peace, let's find a solution through dialogue. But the Taliban completely refused to talk, and still they refuse to talk. Yes, they always say they are welcome to come, but they are refusing to talk on the principles. To come to do what? When they're consolidating their own extreme ideology, it is not a place to live. And that is why millions of people of Afghanistan, they're trying to leave the country, and the situation is very much dire.
You mentioned the agreement. First of all, the talks between the U.S. and the Taliban. They began as early as 2018, I believe. Then there was the withdrawal. Who do you blame for this mistake or this stab in the back? I don't know how you want to...
United
Donald
States of
Trump.
America.
No. Let me be more specific. Donald Trump, Joseph Biden, Ashraf Ghani, or all of the above?
Well, I would like to say all of the above, but I need to be more specific. I believe that the advisors that Mr. Trump had gave them very wrong advice that he believed them. And also, the deal that they made with America, with Taliban, I cannot understand it from the point of view of an American for their own interest. However, they should have not said that, okay, the collapse of Afghanistan is the fall and the problem, or the sort of the problem of people of Afghanistan. or it's because of their fault. No. The fall of Afghanistan government had a direct link to that deal which elevated Taliban. Let's not forget, this is something that I want your viewers to know. Americans forced the government of Afghanistan to release 5,000 Taliban soldiers which we had in captivity. And they promised us, the Qatar promised us, that these 5,000 are not going to return to the front line. Majority of those 5,000 returned to the front line, and they were one of the pillars of the collapse of Afghanistan government. So the deal was very much a very bad deal. You cannot find one word in the agreement between America and the Taliban to name women. There was no mention of women's rights, human's rights. There was no mention of democracy or anything. So that deal was catastrophic. And also, when they decided to announce the non-conditional withdrawal by Mr. Biden, that is also something that we opposed, because I said, make it conditional that you must reach an agreement with your Afghan counterpart. With these two massive and terrible decisions, they completely destroyed the opportunity for peace. They destroyed the balance of negotiation.
So America betrayed the Afghan people.
I believe that the United States of America, with that agreement, they not only betrayed the people of Afghanistan, but the peace opportunity was lost, and the democracy took a big hit, because it meant that many other terrorist groups around the globe, like TTP, like Boko Haram, like Shabab, and many others, they had a role model in ISIS, like Taliban, that if we continue fighting like Taliban, one day America was going to send us another Khalilzad to make a deal with us. So it was a mistake of administration. However, let's not forget that there were people in Pentagon and CIA who advised against such decisions.
But they were not heard.
They were not heard, not especially with the withdrawal. No one heard them.
What the Taliban pledged with the Americans is not to host international terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
They have not fulfilled that promises?
I have a question from you, Mark. Where was Ayman al-Zawahiri killed?
You know the answer.
Kabul. Was it before the agreement or after the agreement? Okay. If that is not a clear indication that the Taliban have Al-Qaeda in their heart, in their homes, in the safest area of Kabul, which is called Green Zone, if that is not a sort of break of the promise of the agreement, I don't know what is. Let's not just focus on Al-Qaeda. Ansarullah, where are they now? Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, TTP, Jaish Muhammad, Lashkar Tayyiba, Lashkar Islam, Jaish al-Adl, many other terrorist groups, they are all freely roaming in Afghanistan. The Taliban cannot disconnect themselves from international and regional terrorist groups, and they did not in the past 2 years.
The U.S. Charge d'Affaires in Afghanistan, Karen Decker, was asked about U.S. supporting your group or other groups, and her answer was absolutely not.
Yes, she
There's
is right.
been enough war in Afghanistan. We're not going to fund or arm groups. This is not a good omen for you, is it?
Well, the thing is, this is why I believe that a lot of the countries, they are doubting America. And I believe there might be even a doubt in the heart of Ukrainian too. Because if Americans are saying this now, after this sort of a mess of a situation that they left in Afghanistan with the agreement, with the departure and everything, let's just think, put yourself in the position of a Ukrainian, that the change of heart in Washington can happen anytime. So it is not a good signal. I believe that the world needs more people with principle rather than just real politics. What the principle is that right now, the democracy, the freedom, women's rights, human rights, all of these values and principles in Afghanistan are being under oppression. And the world needs to stand for those principles.
You recently went to Moscow.
Yes.
You met with some politicians, I imagine Russian officials. Obviously, given the relationship between the US and Russia, this is also, I guess, a way for you to send a signal. Why did you go to Russia, and what did you get from the Russians?
Well, the thing was, once again, the message was very clear, and my trips to Iran, to Russia, any other country invite me, I will go, is that Afghanistan needs to be paid attention to. That Afghanistan, without a political attention to it, without a political stability, which only comes through a legitimate process to bring a legitimate government, can never have a security stability. So therefore, it is very important that powers around the globe, they need to engage with each other in a more constructive way, the way that it happened in 2001, to finally help the people of Afghanistan achieve and have a legitimate government.
Right. We're reaching the end of the interview. Are you concerned that there will be recognition of the Taliban soon?
The thing is that, no, I don't think that's possible, at least in near future. And it should not be, because, in our opinion, the only way that the world should recognize any government, any regime, or any group in Afghanistan as a legitimate government of Afghanistan is if that government or that regime have the internal legitimacy. And internal legitimacy have very clear path to get it, such as election. As long as the governments, or as long as the regimes, or as long as the groups does not have the internal legitimacy, the international community should stop themselves from giving recognition to any group. Otherwise, every group can come through the barrel of gun and try to get the legitimacy.
Ahmad Massoud, I want to thank you very much
for
appearing here on